Part 19. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 182. Chapter 180 Little Zombie. After returning to Yizhuang and settling down with Uncle Ju, Su Junming returned to his room. The harvests were laid out one by one, and 5 magical artifacts including the broken tortoise shell, broken flags, and broken formations were placed in one place. These broken magic weapons were too troublesome to repair. Su Junming planned to wash away the remaining restrictions and practice them again. In particular, the material used for the ritual formation diagram was the highest quality heavenly silk. Although it was chopped into 2 halves, each piece was half a foot in size. With his level of weapon refining, he is enough to refine 2 top-quality magic weapons, purple Yangbagwa diagram, or 4 top-quality magic weapons, golden locks for subduing demons. In addition to these broken ones, there are 2 intact top-quality magic weapons, a rock seal with 11 treasure taboos, and a black Ming sword with 12 taboos. The material of the former is a piece of top-grade heavy mountain stone, while the latter is made of top-grade 900 refined iron and 900 refined white iron. An earth-based magic weapon and a metal magic weapon were both not to Su Junming's liking. Not surprisingly, they will also use it for retraining, or exchange the resources they want from within the sect. The contents of Ren Xiang's magic bag are also very rich. But there are only 2 things that Su Junming really values. The 2 pills have similar effects to the Biang pill and come from the Qingyang pill of the Danding sect. A truly top-quality 3-leaf purple ginseng. But all things put together, in Su Junming's eyes, are not as good as the little zombie with innate yin and yang energy and the magical power of yin and yang scissors. Such a person can be called an innate Taoist body, possesses the top cultivation talent in the world of cultivation, and is the direct descendant that all sects seek. Once you become a cultivator, you can skyrocket. Su Junming was even more curious, how could such a talented person, a son of heaven, be found by Ren Xiang and become a flying yaksha? Grabbing the yellow rice that imprisoned the little zombie's soul, he flicked his fingers, white clouds emerged, and memories emerged one after another. For as long as he can remember, he has lived in a big house. There were many servants around, and Ren Xiang was his father. Apart from Ren Xiang as his father, he didn't have any impression of his mother in his mind. Even most of his life was taken care of by a nanny named Aunt Lan. When he was about 5 years old, his father began to give him some elixirs and taught him to meditate and practice qi. He was very talented, and he developed what his father called innateness within a few months. He happily told his father about this. Although he was happy, he didn't see the strange look in his father's eyes. One night, he was suddenly woken up by his father and taken into a secret room. He never knew that there was such a secret room under his house. He was placed on the gossip table in the center of the secret room by his father. He was frightened and begged to leave. But his father put a talisman he had never seen before on his head, and his whole body seemed to be frozen, unable to move. Soon, a white spiritual light lit up on his father's body, and the Bagua stage also bloomed with a pale white spiritual light, and a fierce and extremely cold feeling passed into his body. He was cold but couldn't speak. He looked at his father with pleading eyes, but what he got was an unprecedented indifference. He alternated between hot and cold for a month, and when he felt like he was about to die, his father brought Aunt Lan in. He saw with his own eyes that the person who had taken care of him since he was a child and regarded him as his mother was cut into pieces by his father in front of him. He could never forget the painful wails, the blood flowing across them, the bloody bones, and the man's devilish smile. The intense hatred made him feel as if his chest was exploding and his head seemed to explode. Suddenly, after his eyes felt cool for a while, he felt that he could move. Both eyes shot out a black and white light, like scissors, cutting the secret room in half. He then passed out, and the last thing he remembered was his father's excited expression. When he woke up again, he could feel that there was another consciousness in his body. He watched with his own eyes as huge black and white scissors shot out of his eyes, and together with his father, he killed enemies one after another, as well as ghosts and demons that he had never seen before and had only heard about in Aunt Ian's stories. Later, he was sealed in a copper coffin and could no longer see anything, and he felt that he was getting weaker and weaker, almost disappearing. Meow, sir, this guy is so cruel, he won't even spare his own son. After reading the memory of the little zombie, Meow Meow Meow, who was lying on the side, started to curse first. Su Junming nodded, but besides his cold-blooded hatred for Ren Xiang, he was also curious about what kind of technique could actually create a clone that had autonomous consciousness, was powerful, and could be cultivated by himself. It's a pity that the other soul in the little zombie's body turned into a ball of paste when he captured it again, with nothing left except the essence of the soul. As for the skills that the little zombie practiced when he was a child, he also used a bronze mirror to understand them. It was just a yin attribute training method, and it was not much better than the chi training techniques of the mysterious demon Swanyan manual and the Swanyan ghost slayer sword. In the eyes of casual cultivators, it may be a great secret technique, but it is not of high value to him. As for the soul taken from Ren Tingting's body, it only contained a set of complex talismans and had no memory. It seems that the only way to unlock Ren Xiang's secret is to truly catch him. Using the 8 trigrams of the Book of Changes to calculate a hexagram, I could only calculate that the opponent was in the northeast direction, and there was no other gain. Meow, sir, this little zombie is so pitiful, let's help him, Mao meowed. Su Junming nodded. For the time being, let it recover in Yimeng Huangliang before going to reincarnation. The soul of this little zombie is very weak and is on the verge of death. If you don't take good care of yourself, it may be difficult to reincarnate. It's better to rest in this physical body, so that it can recover faster, Mao meowed. The physical body is the treasure of the soul and the support of existence. Unless one achieves the soul, he cannot do without the protection of the physical body. If there is a physical body that belongs to oneself, the soul will indeed be more conducive to recovery. No, the physical body's corpse energy is too strong and is not suitable for recuperation. Su Junming simply shook his head. Mao Meow Meow curled her lips and said to herself, I think you are greedy for other people's bodies. Su Junming really coveted this body. The innate yin and yang body and innate supernatural powers are simply top-notch materials for cultivating Dharma-protecting generals, and are even more precious than that bronze-armored corpse. If he were not in the company of zombies, it would be easy for people to misunderstand him, and he would be easily infected by corpse energy and become possessed by demons. He would want to retain the flying yaksha body of the little zombie. The temptation to fly into the sky and escape from the earth is too great. In the future, he will be sacrificed and trained as a puppet of his destiny, Su Junming thought to himself. Dong dong. The sound of hurried footsteps came from far away. Su Junming waved his sleeves and put away the body of the little zombie. He ducked to the door and saw Wen Cai hurriedly running towards him. Seeing Su Junming, Wen Kei's face lit up. Brother, Master is awake and wants you to come over. Uncle, are you awake? With one step, his figure was like lightning. He arrived at Yizhuang in the blink of an eye, walked into the main room, and came to the left wing where Uncle Ju usually rested. Uncle, are you awake? Uncle Ju sat cross-legged on the futon, smiled and nodded. The breath is still relatively weak. Sit. After Su Junming nodded, he sat down on the futon next to him. How is the Ren family? Last night, he saw Su Junming using the magic technique to sweep away powerful enemies. As soon as his magic power was released, he fainted and had no idea what happened next. Master Ren has disappeared, and now only Ren Tingting is left in the Ren family. As for Ren Xiang, who injured his uncle, only his soul escaped. The little zombie has been captured by his disciples, so uncle, just don't worry. After Uncle Ju nodded. You said that young man last night was Mr. Ren's son Ren Xiang. He knew that Master Ren had a son named Ren Xiang, but he had never seen him. Yes. I found his photo at Ren's house. Master Ren, don't you have any clues? Uncle Ju nodded and said. No, it's probably more serious than bad. Uncle Ju and me I counts down. This Ren Xiang actually plotted to murder his own father. It is really a crime that cannot be punished. Ren Xiang not only killed his father, but also turned his grandfather and son into zombies. However, this was not a happy thing, so Su Junming didn't say much. Uncle, did you know that some people's souls have 2 or 3 heads? Why do you ask? Ren Xiang's soul is just 3 heads. I have never seen such a weird situation. Master, I am well informed. I wonder if you have heard of it? Uncle Ju frowned and thought for a while, then his expression suddenly changed. Su Junming was shocked and knew that he had asked the right person. Are you sure that Ren Xiang's soul has 3 heads? Yes. Su Junming nodded affirmatively. Oh, I didn't expect that. In the secular world, warlords were fighting, the people were in dire straits, and the spiritual world was also filled with monsters and chaos. Even the two-hearted demon sect, which had been missing for a long time, was born. Twin-hearted demon cult. Your master occasionally talked about it when he was still alive. Uncle Ju nodded. After organizing the language, the Twin-Heart Demon sect was originally called Yin-Yang section. It was founded by a monk who called himself Yin-Yang Taoist in the late Northern Song dynasty. This Yin-Yang Taoist was a conjoined man, with a Yang in front and a Yin in the back, 2 siblings, sharing the same body. This Yin-Yang Taoist is also a genius. In order to get rid of the disaster of being conjoined, he created a set of Double Heart Sutra. It is rumored that the most magical thing about the Double Heart Sutra is that it can use the blood and soul of the practitioner's close relatives to cultivate a clone with an independent personality. This clone can not only practice on its own, but even if the real body dies, practitioners can also be resurrected through clones. Isn't this 2 lives? Su Junming said in surprise. Exactly. This technique is too powerful. It is comparable to the second soul in Taoist legend. Uncle Ju nodded. This Double Heart Sutra is indeed very powerful, but compared to my Taoist sect's second soul secret method, it still has some shortcomings. First of all, using the blood of close relatives to sacrifice and train clones is against human ethics and extremely cruel. Secondly, the soul will be split and the temperament will change drastically, making it easy to fall into the devil's path. Since the founding of the Yin-Yang sect, all members of the sect have been cruel and easy to kill, killing people at every turn, and are hated by the spiritual world. Therefore, the Yin-Yang sect is also known as the Double Heart Demon sect, and the Double Heart Sutra is also called the Double Heart Demon Kung Fu. By the end of the Yuan dynasty and the beginning of the Ming dynasty, Leguan Taoism and other sects of the Jindan sect were jointly annihilated. I just didn't expect that 500 years later, this inhumane demonic sect would appear again. Uncle Ju shook his head and sighed, then raised his head. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 183. Chapter 181. The Two-Hearted Demon Cult. Junming. Master, please speak. Send the news of the emergence of the double-hearted demon sect back to the section. In addition, Ren Xiang must be killed. The harmful inheritance of the double-hearted demon sect must not be passed down. Be sure to kill them all. Uncle Ju's brows were filled with evil intent, and the murderous intent in his tone was the only thing Su Junming had ever seen in his life. Obviously he hated it to the extreme. Also, for a person like Uncle Ju who respects his teachers and values his teachings, he most hates the twin heart demon cult that violates human ethics and leads to the enlightenment of his closest relatives. Don't worry, Uncle, my nephew will definitely kill that Ren Xiang with his own hands and destroy the twin heart demon section. Uncle Ju nodded. He believed that with Su Junming's strength, it would not be too difficult to do this. But I am afraid that there is a stronger person hidden behind the twin heart demon cult. The double heart demon technique is extremely weird. You should be more careful. If you encounter a Jindan level demon disciple, don't show off and contact the sect in time. Haha, don't worry, uncle. With the disciple's current cultivation and Taoist realm, even if he can't defeat the Golden Core cultivator, he still has no problem escaping. Thinking of the tyranny of Su Junmingshan's true tactics, Uncle Ju nodded. After all, the serious injury had not healed. After saying this, Uncle Ju showed a tired look on his face. Su Junming stood up. Uncle, please take good care of yourself and I will take my leave now. Uncle Ju nodded. I will be in seclusion these days to heal my wounds, and Yizhuang will be handed over to you first. Don't worry, uncle. My nephew will live up to his trust. Also, discipline Qiu Sheng and Wen Cai for me. Uncle, my nephew's methods are a bit violent, do you think? Uncle Ju's face turned grim. You can't become talented without beating them. If they don't listen to discipline, beat them hard and leave me alone. Su Junming smiled. Master nephew will definitely try his best. After leaving the room, Wen Ke walked over quickly. Brother, how is master? Seeing his concerned look, Su Junming nodded slightly in his heart. Although his literary talent is insignificant, his filial piety is indeed valuable. I'm afraid this is why Uncle Ju is always willing to wipe his butt for him. Uncle, he fought with a demon last night and was seriously injured. He has to stay in seclusion for a few days. I gonna go see. Wen Ke looked anxious, turned around and prepared to enter the room. Su Junming stretched out his hand to stop him. My uncle has gone into seclusion. Don't go in and disturb him. It won't be too late to see him again when he recovers from his injuries. Wen Ke stopped with a sad expression. Where's Qiu Sheng? Still not here. Wen Ke's tone was low. When he comes, you can bring him to see me. I understand, senior brother. Su Junming returned to his yard. Not long after, Wen Cai came over with Qiu Sheng. Judging from his face, it was obvious that he also knew about Uncle Ju's injury. Senior brother Su, who injured master last night? I punched one and kicked two to avenge master. If you don't brag, my uncle's injury might be healed quickly. As for revenge, it's just the two of you, and you're just delivering food to others. There was a pause. Master, before you go into seclusion, please let me discipline you. So from now on, I will be responsible for supervising your cultivation. When Cai and Qiu Sheng looked at each other, and the latter said cautiously. Senior brother Su, Master said yesterday that we will only practice Ba Duan Jin for 1 hour this morning and draw talismans for an hour in the afternoon, and then we can rest. Do you think so, Wen Cai? The latter nodded quickly. A playful smile appeared on Su Junming's face. Master is master, and I am me. Master only gives you 2 hours of homework a day, doesn't mean I do the same. Dao Cheng. The mandrill held a green wooden stick and walked over with heavy steps. The ferocious face, tyrannical momentum, and huge body made Wen Ke and Qiu Sheng tremble, and their eyes showed fear. Master. Starting from today, I will supervise them to practice Bajuan Jin for 2 hours every morning, draw symbols for an hour in the afternoon, and meditate for an hour. If they are disobedient. Seeing the pleading eyes of the two people, Su Junming raised the corner of his mouth. Just hit me. Yes. Shandaoking responded with a bang, with a look of eagerness on his face. But in the eyes of Wen Ke and Qiu Sheng, they always felt that this big monkey seemed to have murderous intent in its eyes. Senior brother, no, we can just practice by ourselves, Qiu Sheng said quickly. Yes, we practice by ourselves. Su Junming smiled lightly. I'm sorry, but the protest is invalid. Dao Qing, take them to the stand first. Yes, sir. Shandaoking raised his stick, his face full of threats. Let's go. Wen Ke is relatively honest. Although he is reluctant, he does not dare to make mistakes. Qiu Sheng's mind was spinning, his eyes rolled, and a look of pain appeared on his face. Oh, senior brother, my stomach hurts. I need to go to the toilet first. Just as he was about to turn around and run away, he suddenly realized that he couldn't move his whole body. Su Junming raised his big feet and kicked Qiu Sheng on the buttocks like a wild goose falling on the sand. After flying 5 or 6 meters through the air, he fell to the ground in a panic. His nose was bruised and his face was swollen. Qiu Sheng's embarrassment instantly made Wen Cai suppress the little thoughts that had just popped up in his heart. The urine escape technique and other things are all left over from Su Junming's old tricks. You still want to use this trick to hide it from him? Dao Qing, when the sealing technique on his body is released, he will be punished by making him stand at the Lianji Zhuang for half an hour longer. Yes, sir. After Su Junming glanced at Qiu Sheng and Wen Cai, he turned and walked into the room. He is not Uncle Ju, who always likes these two people who cheat the master. Mao Miao Miao was not here, so he probably went to the river to fish for fish again. That's all she's got. As soon as he patted the bag, 3 coffins, 1 large, 1 medium, and 1 small, appeared in front of him. The large copper coffin contained the recovered bronze-armored corpse, with Old Man Ren in the middle, and finally the newly acquired little zombie. After some consideration, the big copper coffin and the small copper coffin were put away, leaving only the body of Mr. Ren. Su Junming has turned the corpse energy in his body into Swanyan magic power. Now he is using the yin-yang great mill to transform Swanyan into pure yang. He cannot give up halfway, otherwise all his efforts will be wasted. Snapped. With the crisp sound of fried bamboo shoots and meat, Qiu Sheng's face instantly turned red from suppressing the pain, and his buttocks hurt, but he did not dare to get up. Seeing this, Su Junming nodded with satisfaction. The heavy ruler held a flower in his hand. Qiu Sheng and Wen Cai looked at him with fear in their eyes. The most important thing to avoid is distraction when standing in the stance. Otherwise, even if you use 10% of your skills, you will only have 2 or 3 points of effectiveness. So, don't blame me for hitting you. At this time, it is for your own good to hit you, do you understand? Qiu Sheng and Wen Cai nodded repeatedly, fearing they would be beaten again. Children can be taught. Su Junming smiled all over his face. Ever since he occasionally became a teacher during a break in training, he began to like the feeling of holding a ruler in his hand. It has to be said that he also has the problem of being a teacher. His ears moved, and Su Junming's eyes moved slightly. Dao Cheng. Master. Shandaoking strode over. You look at them. Yes. Throwing the ruler over, Su Junming turned around and walked towards Yizhuang. Seeing him leave, Wen Ke and Qiu Sheng breathed a sigh of relief. This senior brother's eyes were extremely poisonous and his methods were even more ruthless. If they were a little lazy, they would accurately strike with the long and wide ruler, and the pain would penetrate 3/3 of the flesh, making it extremely uncomfortable. Dong dong. There was a knock on the courtyard door. Su Junming stepped forward and opened the door. A very capable young man with short hair appeared outside the door. Who are you looking for? Can Taoist Master Yaimei live here? The young man asked after looking up and down. Taoist priest Yaimei. Thinking of Uncle Ju's appearance, Su Junming suddenly realized. My uncle is currently practicing Taoism in seclusion. It is inconvenient to see outsiders. If you have anything, just tell me. You. Seeing that he was younger than herself, the visitor couldn't help but have doubts on his face. Look. The young man subconsciously looked in the direction of Su Junming. After seeing nothing unusual, he was about to ask, but saw a spiritual light flying from the fingertips of this man who was younger than him, standing 10 feet away from them. A boulder as big as a millstone was instantly smashed into pieces. Seeing the stone powder flying in the sky, the young man was stunned. "Can you tell me now?" The young man's body trembled, and he instinctively feared the unknown. Hello, Taoist priest, I am Lu Ashen from Anyuan town next door. The mayor sent me to ask Taoist priest Yaimei to help us eliminate zombies. Zombies? After nodding hastily, for some reason, half a month ago, the water source in the town was contaminated, then people fell ill one after another. In the next 7 days, zombies appeared again, and now 6 people have died. Now people in the town are panicked. I hope Tao Changfa will show mercy and save our Anyuan town. After saying that, he knelt down. After quickly supporting him. Taoists cherish life and have no measure of people. As a direct descendant of Taoism, I, Mao Shan, will not stand idly by when monsters and ghosts cause trouble. Since Uncle Ju had promised to take care of Yizhuang, he couldn't push this business out any further. Thank you, Taoist master. Thank you, Taoist master. Wait for me here. Well. I returned to my yard and simply tidied it up. Dao Qing, I'm going out for a while. You can watch them practice every day here. Yes, sir. Looking at Qiu Sheng and Wen Cai, Su Junming smiled slightly, and they both shuddered. Recently, they have been frightened by this cheap senior brother. Practice well at home. If I come back and hear you guys being lazy. Senior brother, don't worry. We will work hard and never be lazy. Isn't that right? Wen Cai. That's right, senior brother. We must work hard to practice. It better be so. After leaving Yizhuang, he took Lu Ashen towards Anyuan town. Anyuan town is in the north of Renjia town. If you want to go there, you must first pass through Renjia town. Taoist master, what's wrong? Seeing Su Junming suddenly stop, Lu Ashen asked curiously. It's okay, let's go. Just now I saw outside the Ren family's mansion, there were countless people on the 3 floors inside and outside watching the excitement. Thinking that the only direct descendant of the Ren family was Ren Tingting, a weak woman, it was not difficult to guess what would happen. However, it would be better for him as an outsider not to participate in the fight for family property. After leaving Renjia town, not long after, a black cat flew over and landed on Su Junming's shoulder in Lu Ashen's surprised and curious eyes. Meow, master, where are you going? Mao Mia Meow's spiritual consciousness transmitted the message. Next door town. Did you get anything from last night? I just caught a female ghost in the banana forest outside the town. She must have just become a powerful ghost. She has no skills at all. Mao Meow Meow is a restless cat. Besides eating, she also likes to catch ghosts. In Renjia town, which is a large town, it has captured all the ghosts and ghosts in every corner. It is estimated that in the next few years, there will be no ghosts here. Of course, Uncle Ju will have some leisure time here. Mao Meow Meow opened his mouth, and a colorful grain of yellow rice flew into Su Junming's hand. Soon you won't be bored anymore. Mao Meow Meow's eyes lit up. Is that town ahead haunted? Looking at the town exposed in the valley ahead, Su Junming nodded. Not just ghosts, but corpses too. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 184. Chapter 182 Anyuan Town. With the help of a bronze mirror, Su Junming could clearly see a gray cloud hanging over Anyuan Town. He was extremely familiar with corpse energy and recognized it at a glance. But in addition to the corpse aura, there was also a trace of scarlet blood. It seems that the corpse disaster in Anyuan town is not as simple as it seems. Taoist master, our town is ahead. Lu Ashen, who was walking in front, pointed to the small town in the valley. He glanced curiously at the black cat lying on Su Junming's shoulder. He always felt that the cat's eyes were deep and looked like a human being. Thinking of the rumors he had heard about black cats, Lu Ashen did not dare to look at them anymore, and quickly led Su Junming along the mountain road towards Anyuan town. After twists and turns, about half an hour later, the two arrived at the entrance of the village. At noon, the sun was shining brightly, but there were only a few pedestrians on the busiest street in Anyuan town. Occasionally, I went in and was in a hurry. And everyone looked obviously wary. Our town used to be very prosperous, but now that there are zombies, no one dares to come out, Lu Ashen said. Su Junming nodded and raised his hand. What is that place? Oh, that's the church. Church. Looking at the several floors of earthen buildings in the distance, they really couldn't compare with the image of the church in his mind. Lu Ashen nodded. The church was built by two foreign monks. I heard they came from Italy. It was prosperous for a few years at first, but after the death of the two foreign monks, it was completely abandoned. It's almost the same as Jiquan town, but I wonder if there are any foreign zombies in it? However, the yin energy is very heavy, Su Junming thought to himself. Taoist priest, the town office is ahead. Su Junming briefly looked at the elegant building with green bricks in front, and then strode in under the leadership of Lu Ashen. The town hall is a new thing that appeared after the revolution. It is the place where the mayor of the town has his office. Therefore, the whole building is made of blue bricks and wood. Although it cannot be called luxurious, it is considered a rare high-quality building in this small mountain town. After passing through the courtyard with several pots of flowers, we came to the open hall, which was obviously used for entertaining guests. Master, wait a minute, I'll call the mayor. Su Junming nodded. Lu Ashen turned around and walked into the backyard. Not long after, the sounds of messy and rapid footsteps came closer and closer. Soon, a rich-looking middle-aged man wearing a long robe and mandarin jacket came out with Lu Ashen, who had left earlier, and a young man in military uniform with a sharp mouth and monkey cheeks. The two sides looked at each other, and the middle-aged man cupped his hands and smiled. The mayor of Anyuan town, Luo Taibao, has met the Taoist leader. Su Junming, the southern sect of Mission, met Jushi Luo. Su Junming slapped his head. I heard what Ah Sheng just said, that Taoist Su and Taoist Yaimei are from the same sect. Exactly. I have always heard that Taoist Master Yaimei of Renjia town has great magical powers and can subjugate demons and demons. He never fails. I wonder if Taoist Master Su Junming smiled lightly. Although my abilities are not as good as those of my uncle, it is still not a problem to solve the corpse disaster in Anyuan town. You said it can be solved, but what if it can't be solved? The young man in military uniform said suddenly. This is Lu Guangnan, the security captain of this town, Captain Lu, Luo Taibao introduced. Lu Guangnan raised his chin a few inches, a trace of unruliness and pride showing on his face. Seeing that this man looked somewhat similar to Renjia town security captain Awei, Su Junming said calmly. If I can't solve it, I won't take any money. Haha, this is what you said. Su Junming nodded slightly. Captain Lu, what if I solve it? 50 yuan is now in the ocean, every penny is a penny. I don't want money. If I solve the ghost trouble in Anyuan town, can Captain Lu give me the jade pendant around his neck? Lu Guangnan subconsciously covered his neck, with a hint of wariness on his face. No, this is my family heirloom. Su Junming patted the magic bag, and 10 small yellow croakers appeared in his palm. What if we add these 100 taels of gold? Gold. Not only Lu Guangnan, but also Lu Taibao and Lu Ashen showed greed on their faces. 100 taels of gold is equivalent to 3,000 taels of silver. No one in Anyuan town can have such a large amount of money. Lu Guangnan subconsciously took 2 steps forward, picked up a gold bar from Su Junming's hand, put it in his mouth and bit it. Real. After confirming the authenticity, Lu Guangnan became even more greedy. After hesitating for a moment, he took off the family heirloom from his neck, handed it to Su Junming, and then put all the gold into his arms. Make a deal. Su Junming smiled and said, deal. Mayor, Mr. Su, you guys talk first, then I'll leave first. After saying this, without waiting for anyone to reply, Lu Guangnan hurriedly walked out of the town hall holding the gold in his arms. Of course he had to hide such a large amount of wealth first. Taoist Master Su, I also have a family heirloom here, why don't you take a look at it too? Luo Taibao took out a jade pendant from under his neck. And I. Lu Ashen also followed suit. Su Junming shook his head. It's a pity that I'm only interested in Captain Lu's family heirloom. Luo Taibao's face showed deep reluctance, but he quickly said. Taoist Master Su, there are still many more at home. Interrupt him. Mayor Luo, Pandao is here to drive away demons. Please send someone to show Pandao around the town first. Seeing that he was indeed unwilling, Luo Taibao's expression changed slightly and his tone became a bit stiff. Ah Sheng, take the Taoist priest out for a walk. Although Lu Ashen also felt regretful, he was not so jealous and nodded after hearing this. Taoist master, please. Su Junming cupped his hands, turned and walked outside the town hall. Looking at his back, Luo Taibao's eyes flickered and he didn't know what he was thinking. Out of the town hall. Taoist priest, where are we going? Go to the church first. Okay, this way please. Meow, master, why did you spend 100 taels of gold to buy a broken pendant? Mao Meow Meow's spiritual consciousness transmitted the message. Su Junming took out the pendant he had just bought. On the red string that had been dyed black by Lu Guangnan's grease, dust, and dead skin, there hung an egg-sized, earthy brown, pot-bellied Maitreya Buddha statue. Don't say 100 taels of gold, even 10,000 taels of gold. I would be willing to exchange it for this thing. Su Junming's eyes showed a hint of excitement. Mao Meow Meow, who knew her master's greedy and stingy character very well, became curious. The round cat eyes are about to fall out, and there is no clue from this Maitreya Buddha. I simply didn't read it. Meow Meow, sir, what on earth is this broken Buddha statue? I will tell you after the seal above is removed. Hey, you're lying again. Taoist master, we're just ahead. Su Junming nodded. Lu Shi, your mayor Luo Taibao is quite famous in Anyuan town, right? Lu Ashen looked around and whispered after no one was around. To be honest with you, Mayor Luo, our Mayor Luo, dominates the entire Anyuan town. He owns half of the land and shops in the town. And he also has a younger brother named Luo Xiaobao who controls the town. Go to all the gambling houses and brothels. The 2 brothers of the Luo family are called the 2 tigers of the Luo family in Anyuan town. The 2 tigers of the Luo family. It's a very domineering name, but I don't think Captain Lu is afraid of him. He, Captain Lu is the brother-in-law of the county security captain Chen Yaliang. He has a strong background, so naturally he won't be afraid of them. I see. The Luo family brothers are so powerful in Anyuan town. They only bully men and dominate women, and they often do things that take human life lightly, right? Lu Ashen's expression changed drastically, and his nervous tone changed. Taoist priest, don't dare to say such nonsense. Seeing how scared he was, Su Junming smiled lightly and didn't say much. Since entering Anyuan town, he has been using bronze mirrors to search for corpse aura. However, he did not see the corpse aura. Instead, he saw strong resentment and blood evil aura on Luo Tebeo's body. Apparently many innocent souls died at the hands of this man. Afraid that Su Junming would say anything outrageous and hurt himself, Lu Ashen sped up a lot and distanced himself from him. It didn't take long before we arrived at the church outside the town. He ha, he ha. Before I walked in, I heard a loud chant. I looked up and saw a big blue butt twisting around on an earthen building directly opposite, as if it was pulling something heavy. In the courtyard in the middle of the church, the weeds were trimmed and the debris was cleared away, revealing the hard stone slabs underneath. The earth building on the left has also been renovated. It is not brand new, but at least it can be lived in. Lu Shilu, this church doesn't look like it's abandoned. After Lu Ashen nodded, he took 2 steps forward and shouted loudly. Hey, what are you doing? Ah! The sudden sound from behind frightened the man on the wall to tremble, scream, and fall down from the top. Su Junming flicked his sleeves, and a surging secret energy rushed over. Hey, I'm not dead. After Wuza screamed for a while and realized that she had not gone to see God, a fat Western female monk wearing a blue robe got up from the ground. Thank you, Lord Almighty. After praying for a moment, the female monk, who looked like a Russian ant in later generations, got up from the ground and walked to Lu Ashen fiercely, roaring like thunder. What's your name? It's so loud all of a sudden. People are scared to death by you. Lu Ashen was also in shock at this moment, but when he saw that no one was dead in the end, his nervousness calmed down a little. But being overwhelmed by the aura of this middle-aged female cultivator, her face turned red but she couldn't say anything. Dean. 4 young female monks ran out from the back of the church with panicked expressions. Dean, how are you? Dean, are you okay? The chirping sound made Su Junming understand more deeply that it was true that a woman could compete with 500 ducks. It was really noisy. Stop arguing, I'm fine. After comforting her apprentice, Maria looked at the young Taoist next to her who always had a calm expression and a calm temperament. She has been preaching in China for many years, and she also has a certain understanding of local Chinese religions. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 185. Chapter 183, Dean Maria. Taoist priest, do you think? After waving his hand to signal Lu Ashen not to worry, Su Junming took a few steps forward. Go to Mission Nanzong Su Junming again, and be entrusted by Luo Tebeo, the mayor of Anyuan town, to eliminate the zombie scourge that has recently occurred in the town. My name is Maria. I am a nun from Xiangjiang and the dean of this church. After the 2 parties greeted each other. Abbess Maria, may I see your church? Maria hesitated for a while. Although there was nothing shameful in the church, if a foreign teacher could visit casually, what if it would be blasphemous? Dean Maria, 6 people have died in the town now. All houses in the town that have been vacant for a long time will be searched. If you don't agree, I'm afraid the entire Anyuan town residents won't agree, Su Junming said. The Taoist priest is right. Anyone who prevents us from catching zombies is the enemy of Anyuan town. Lu Ashen echoed. Maria considered that she had just arrived and her foundation was not deep. If you go against public opinion, you may find it difficult to gain a foothold here in the future. The church is the sanctuary of the Almighty Lord, and there can be no evil spirits. But since the Taoist priest wants to see it, please come in. Thank you very much. Su Junming strode towards the earth building in the middle, where the gloomy atmosphere was the heaviest in the entire church. Climb the 3 stone steps and push open the somewhat decayed wooden door. Directly opposite the narrow stairwell, a staircase made of thick wood leads to the 2nd floor. The door to the left-hand side is closed with an iron lock. The dust on the door has soaked into the wood. Although there are traces of cleaning, it still looks dirty. What is this place? This was the ashram of the last priest. Open it, go in and take a look. I don't have the key. This lock looks brittle than a vegetable. It opens when you touch it. No, this is the most solemn holy place in the church. Doing this is disrespectful to God. Oh well. Su Junming put his left hand behind his back, and a ray of spiritual light popped up and quickly disappeared into the wooden door. Soon, smoke from fireworks came out from inside. It seems like there's a fire somewhere. The fat female cultivator soon discovered the fire light coming from under the wooden door, and was instantly shocked. Oops, there's a fire inside, put out the fire quickly. Su Junming picked up the brick next to him at the right time and handed it over. Before she could say thank you, the fat female cultivator took it and smashed it with her wave without hesitation. The force was so strong and the swing was so urgent that in just a few strokes, the entire iron lock was smashed down. Clang! Due to excessive force and age, the entire wooden door fell off. The fat female cultivator was unable to stop herself and fell to the ground following the wooden door. Countless dust was kicked up. Ahem! The fat girl couldn't stop coughing. Su Junming waved his sleeves, and a strong wind flew in, picking up the raised dust and flying outside. He reached out and helped the fat female Xiu up. Are you okay? Where's the fire? Where's the fire? After shaking her head, the fat female cultivator quickly looked around. Maybe it was suppressed. The entire retreat room is about 50 to 60 square meters in size. There is a sarcophagus in the middle, and the beams are covered with dried garlic heads. A withered skeleton knelt on the ground, with a circle of dried garlic beside it. In front of him was a small table with an altar placed on it, and above the altar was a black cross. Oops! The fat female cultivator shouted and hid behind Su Junming. Apparently she also saw the kneeling corpse. But Su Junming didn't expect that the fat female cultivator who looked more powerful than men would be afraid of the bones of someone who had been dead for many years. His clothes look a bit like the person in the photo. Su Junming pointed to the photo frame hanging on the wall. The fat female cultivator came over and looked at the photo. Father Chi? He is the previous missionary. The fear on the face of the fat female cultivator disappeared. She walked around Su Junming, walked behind the corpse and knelt down. It turns out you didn't give up your priesthood. The church thought you were AWOL, but in fact you have been fighting the devil here. I will help you explain to the church. Rest in peace, Father Pray. Su Junming saw another photo on the wall. There should be another priest. The fat female cultivator turned her head and glanced. More than 10 years ago, 2 priests came here to spread the glory of the Holy Lord. Father Chi was attacked by the devil. I think the other priest could not escape the evil either. Su Junming nodded and walked to the corpse. Seeing him holding his hands behind his back, with the 1-foot-long wooden sword deeply embedded in the heart of his sternum, he understood. It turned out to be suicide. The wooden sword is also a magical weapon, but it has not been warmed and maintained for more than 10 years and is basically useless. I looked around with a bronze mirror and saw no ghost. He stretched out his hand to grab it, and a trace of dark red mist flew into his hand from the shriveled heart of the corpse. As soon as his consciousness touched him, a bloodthirsty desire arose from the bottom of his heart. What a rich blood, and the power to stir up desire. The light of the pure heart talisman flashed, instantly suppressing the bloodthirsty desire in his heart. Temporarily seal the blood into a dream of yellow beams. After more than 10 years, there is still a trace of vitality remaining, which shows how tyrannical its power was in the beginning. To be able to fight by committing suicide, this Father Chi can be considered a profound believer. Go around the empty sarcophagus and come to the back of the room. There is a bed here, but Su Junming's eyes are not on the bed, but looking up. The roof was densely covered with bats. The bats all carry that weird blood energy, the corpse energy is even thicker, and they also have a weird soul power. Noticing Su Junming looking over, all the bats opened their mouths and screamed, their red eyes showing bloodthirsty. So many bats. The fat female cultivator heard the sound and looked over. He was instantly frightened by the dense swarm of bats and screamed. Ignorant fool! With a slap on the magic bag, countless yellow rice grains flashing with colorful lights flew out, passing through the bodies of all the bats as if they were illusory. Whenever this yellow rice is touched, the soul will be taken away. Without a soul, all that's left is a pile of motionless flesh. With a wave of his sleeves, all the bat corpses fell into the open sarcophagus next to them. In just a moment, the sarcophagus with a space of 2 to 3 cubic meters was filled. He stretched out his hand to grab it, and a thick wisp of blood energy, mixed with strong corpse energy, rolled out, fell into the palm of his hand, followed the meridians, and fell into the dantian to grind the yin and yang. The millstone rotates, and the blood is ground into pure qi and blood and a pure spiritual power. The former was absorbed by Su Junming's body, and the latter was transferred to Yimeng Huang Liang. Dealing with corpse qi is even more familiar. However, he did not refine all these strange blood energy and corpse energy, but retained a trace to suppress it in the yin and yang great mill. A wisp of sparks popped up and touched the sarcophagus, and the bat corpse inside burned instantly. Within a matter of seconds, it was burned to ashes. It's up to the layman to deal with these ashes. I'll take my leave. The fat female cultivator nodded subconsciously. She is still immersed in Su Junming's powerful magic, full of shock and unable to extricate herself. After looking around with the help of the bronze mirror and seeing that there was no more filth in the room, he turned around and walked out. Taoist master, how are you? Lu Ashen came over quickly. Let's go look elsewhere. What about this church? The church is fine. The two left, and 4 young female monks swarmed around the fat female monk. Dean, why is he gone? Yes, why didn't you look at those 2 houses? The fat female cultivator said impatiently as her brain hurt from the noise. Hey, stop arguing and come with me. Finally, he glanced at Su Junming's back and led the 4 female disciples into the retreat room. He wanted to deal with Father Chi's bones and the bat ashes. In addition to the bats in the church, he also cleaned up a large number of corpse bats in the shade of the trees by the river. After using the yin and yang grinder to absorb the corpse air that had merged into the river water, he found no other abnormalities. Back at the town hall, Luo Taibao, Lu Guangnan, and several squires from Anyuan town were waiting for him. Taoist Master Su, how are you? Luo Taibao asked. 2 batches of corpse bats have been cleaned up, but the zombies have not been found yet. After a pause, Mayor Luo, where are the people who have been bitten by the zombies? Caught and burned to death. Where are the ashes? Buried in a mass grave at the east end of the village. I want to see it. It's just some ashes, what can the Taoist priest see? Luo Taibao asked. Pandeo has his own means, so he asked Mayor Luo to help lead the way. I'll come. Director Su, I'll show you the way. Lu Guangnan came out of the crowd, rubbing his hands with a flattering smile on his face. Obviously, the 100 taels of gold before had completely changed his attitude towards Su Junming. Captain Lu is willing to help guide the way, that would be great. Lu Guangnan nodded. Mayor Luo, I know the place where the ashes are buried, so let me take Director Su there. No, it's okay. Let's go together. Taoist Master Su, please, Luo Taibao said. Su Junming nodded unequivocally, turned around and walked out of the town hall. The group left Anyuan town and came to the mass graves on the outskirts. There are overgrown weeds, tombs everywhere, and old pines growing alternately, looking strange and weird. Crows stood on the branches and watched these people coming from afar, showing no intention of hiding. A cool breeze blew by. Lu Guangnan, Luo Taibao and other people who came all shivered and looked around suspiciously, with panic in their expressions. If it weren't for the fact that the sun was still hanging above our heads, even if there were many people, we might not have the courage to come here. Su, that's it? I remember very clearly that I asked them to bury the ashes there. Lu Guangnan pointed to the land next to a locust tree. Su Junming nodded and walked over. Judging from the color of the earth, it seems that it has been just a few days ago and the grass has not grown yet. He reached out and grabbed it, and a wisp of light red blood and corpse energy flew out from the ashes under the soil layer. Taoists who practice qi are very sensitive to all kinds of qi. As long as there is a trace left, they can be found. His spiritual consciousness took a moment and compared the blood energy and corpse energy he got from the church bat. It's indeed the same origin. He took out the 8 diagrams plate from the magic bag, and with a push of magic power, the blood energy and corpse energy were sucked in. The patriarchal clan of the Qing dynasty can be traced back to its roots. The pointer spun rapidly. Finally, it points to the northeast. After freezing for 2 seconds, it points to the southeast again. 2 places. Su, how are you? Luo Tebeo stepped forward and asked. I found it. Come with me. Luo Tebeo nodded, watched Su Junming walking in front, then fell a few steps behind, grabbed Lu Guangnan, and whispered. Captain Lu, have you called all the security team? Why? Although this Taoist priest Su seems to have some ability, he is still younger. We don't know whether he can catch that zombie. If he catches it, everything will be fine. If he fails to catch it, there will be security guards. If the team is here, we won't be buried with him. When Lu Guangnan heard this, he nodded in agreement. He was also a person who cherished his life. What Mayor Luo said makes sense. Come over. Recruiting a soldier, you go back and ask the brothers to take the guy and wait at the entrance of the town. After the soldier nodded, he hurriedly ran towards the town. Su Junming's 5 senses were sharp, so he naturally heard their whispers, but he was left to their own devices, as long as he could kill the demons and earn merit. Returning to the entrance of the town, 12 soldiers carrying rifles came forward. Seeing his men, Lu Guangnan's face glowed with pride. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 186. Chapter 184 Vampire. Su Junming just glanced at it and continued walking forward holding the compass. It didn't take long and we stopped outside a deep house compound. Right here. Nonsense, this is my home, am I also a zombie? Lu Guangnan walked out with an ugly expression. Director Su, are you mistaken? Captain Lu can't be a zombie, a gray-haired old man said. Yes, yes. I saw it when I was catching zombies a few days ago. Those fangs are long and thick, Captain Lu is obvious, isn't he? Taoist master, it's about Captain Lu's reputation. Don't talk nonsense, Luo Tebeo said with a smile. After Su Junming's eyes swept across them, they settled on Lu Guangnan. Of course Captain Lu is not a zombie, but someone in Captain Lu's family is. If Captain Lu doesn't believe it, just ask Pandeo to go in and find out. Of course, if Captain Lu refuses, Pandeo will turn around and leave. But if Captain Lu loses his life, don't blame Pandeo for not warning him in advance. Lu Guangnan's expression changed. After hesitating for a moment, he realized that his face was not as important as his life. Taoist priest, please. Su Junming nodded and walked in. Lu Guangnan's house is a courtyard with 2 entrances. The front yard is for entertaining guests, and the back is the inner house. Passing through a small garden, a 2-story building appeared in front of me. The first floor of the small building is just that, but the windows on the second floor are all blocked by thick curtains. This is Captain Lu's residence. Exactly. Where's the second floor? My wife is sick and is resting inside. Get ill. Su Junming smiled coldly, waved his left hand, and a golden rope passed through the window as fast as lightning. When he came out again, a woman wearing a black coat and a headscarf had been tied up. Let my wife go. Lu Guangnan's expression changed, and he drew his gun and pointed it at Su Junming. A dozen soldiers from the security team also hurriedly pointed their guns at him. Captain Lu, Director Su, please don't be impulsive. Let's talk if you have anything to say. Yes, yes, don't be impulsive. Su Junming looked at Lu Guangnan and said calmly. Captain Lu, your wife has become a corpse demon. If you don't believe it, just go over and lift her headscarf and have a look. Seeing how confident he was, Lu Guangnan walked over doubtfully and lifted his headscarf to take a look. Ouch, my mom. With a loud shout, Lu Guangnan retreated in horror. Under the hood opened between her, two curved fangs in the woman's mouth were exposed at her lips. Her pale skin was bloodless, and there was nothing that a living person should look like. The people who came with him screamed and backed away. Captain Lu, how are you? This. Lu Guangnan has seen a zombie who is just like his wife. Seeing his unbelievable look, Su Junming didn't bother to talk to him anymore. He walked up to the woman, examined her for a moment, and frowned. He originally thought that the woman had been bitten by a zombie and had not transformed into bones, but the soul that had not transformed into bones was infected with corpse energy, so it was impossible for her to still be conscious. When he brought Lu Guangnan and others in just now, his spiritual consciousness saw that the woman was hiding behind the window and peeking, and her nervous look could not be faked. Moreover, compared to the non-transformed bones, the blood in this woman's heart orifices is strong, which is several times higher than that of ordinary people, but there is no heartbeat of ordinary people. This was the first time he had seen such a strange monster. A wisp of yellow rice popped out, absorbing the woman's soul, the corpse energy in her body, and the strange blood energy in her heart orifice. Withdrawing the magic subduing golden lock, the woman fell softly. Without the soul, what is left is just a pile of flesh and blood, and it is impossible to do evil again. Captain Lu, please prepare the funeral arrangements for Madame Ling. Taoist priest, she. Without the vitality, there is nothing a poor man can do. Looking at my wife whom I have been with day and night for several years, a feeling of sadness wells up in my heart. Damn zombie, I must tear it into pieces. Su Junming raised his eyebrows. If it weren't for the protection of the Maitreya Buddha statue he bought, let alone revenge, Lu Guangnan would have been bitten by his wife and turned into a monster. However, he had some suspicions that the thing that caused this disaster might not be zombies, at least not in the traditional sense. Taoist priest, Captain Lu's wife is the source of this town's corpse disaster. Luo Taibao stepped forward and asked. No, Mrs. Lu is just a victim. Su Junming shook his head. Lu Guangnan breathed a sigh of relief. If his wife is the source of the corpse disaster, I'm afraid he won't be able to stay in Anyuan town any longer. Is there someone coming? Two soldiers ran over. Team leader. Put the madam's body away for now, wait until I catch the zombie, crush the bones and scatter the ashes, and then bury them together. Yes. Looking at the ferocious-looking captain's wife on the ground, the two soldiers hesitated. However, it is hard to disobey your orders, even if you are afraid, you must do it. There are two monsters collected in the Bagua Pan. In addition to Lu Guangnan's wife, there is also one in the southeast. Su Junming led the way, followed by the imposing Lu Guangnan and the security team, as well as Luo Taibao and others. A group of more than 20 people left Anyuan town and walked 5 or 6 miles on the mountain road, but they still hadn't arrived yet. Dea Zhangsu, how long do we have to go? Lu Guangnan panted. Have no idea. Have no idea. Pandeo is also walking according to the compass directions. I have never been there, so I don't know how long it will take. After a pause, if Captain Lu feels tired, it is better to rest here first, and Pandeo can go alone. No, this captain will personally avenge his wife. As for the other squires who followed, they did not have Lu Guangnan's spirit. I usually feel pampered, but now I am exhausted from walking on such a long mountain road continuously. As soon as Su Junming said that he had to go forward for an unknown distance, they all followed without saying anything. In the end, only Lu Guangnan's security team was left, following Su Junming into the mountains. After walking for another 2 or 3 miles, a deep stream appeared in front of us. The strong wind roared on both sides, and a shabby suspension bridge connected the two sides. Looking at the rickety suspension bridge, which seemed to be about to break at any moment, Lu Guangnan looked troubled. "Taoist master, do we really want to go there? Captain Lu can stay here while Pandeo goes by himself. Then it will be troublesome for the Taoist priest. Walking on the mountain road is tiring at best, but if you cross this bridge, you will lose your life if you don't do it right." Compared to his own life, avenging his wife doesn't seem to be that important. Su Junming nodded, and put his toes on the cliff. He flew towards the center of the wooden bridge like light leaves. When his toes touched the wooden board, he landed on the other side of the deep stream. Seeing this scene in the eyes of Lu Guangnan and all the security team members, they couldn't help but feel envious. "Taoist master, you must catch the zombies," Lu Guangnan said loudly. After turning around and nodding to him, Su Junming took a step and quickly disappeared around the corner of the dense woods. "Meow, sir, it smells like corpse." Su Junming nodded, he also smelled it. One person and one cat walked forward for more than 10 meters. Sure enough, under an old locust tree where 2 people were hugging each other, the body of a woman wearing a white skirt appeared in front of her eyes. Because the yin qi here is relatively strong, the corpse's decay is not serious, but the corrosion marks on the body are very heavy, and the original appearance can no longer be seen. "Now that we've encountered it, we can't let you expose your body in the wilderness." He took out the meteorite ball and temporarily put the body in it, preparing to find a place with beautiful scenery for burial. After this episode, Su Junming walked forward a few hundred meters, and a broken wall covered by weeds and vines appeared in front of him. Judging from the traces left behind, this was once a Buddhist temple, and it was quite large. However, after hundreds of years of rain and wind, there are basically no traces of the Buddhist temple except for a few remaining Buddha statues. "It's here." Without compass guidance, Su Junming also sensed the strong corpse energy coming from the front. "Meow, master, leave it to me." Mao Meow Meow volunteered. Judging from the intensity of the corpse aura, that guy was only in the early stages of black zombie at best, and was no match for Mao Meow Meow. "Be careful." "Meow Meow, I got it." "Shua." Like black lightning, Mao Meow Meow instantly disappeared into the dilapidated Buddhist temple ahead. The sound of fighting started quickly, but as Su Junming expected, it ended within a few seconds. Mao Meow Meow tied up a young Caucasian woman with blonde hair and blue eyes in a white robe and came to Su Junming with a magic bending golden lock. "Master, this thing was hiding in the pagoda and was captured by Meow Meow." "Well done." A grain of colorful yellow rice popped out and pulled out the woman's soul. With the help of magic power, scenes of her memories appeared in front of Su Junming's eyes. It turned out to be a vampire who turned into a zombie by chance. No wonder the zombie aura is so strong and has a weird bloody smell. At this time, he also understood the story that happened in that church more than 10 years ago. In fact, it doesn't matter whether it's a priest or another priest who has disappeared. Together with this woman, the 3 of them are vampires, and they all come from the Revno family, one of the 13 clans. Because he has gypsy blood in his body, he is often persecuted by other vampire families. In order to survive, they all converted to the Holy See and hid in China. However, vampires have a weakness. On full moon nights, they will lose their minds because the blood in their bodies boils. Only by sucking the blood of humans and animals can this abnormality be cured. Among the 3, Grusin, who is older, has been purified by the Holy See and has a firmer faith. In addition, He has a sacred weapon given by the Holy See in his hand, so he can suppress the blood boil on the night of the full moon. Need blood. But the younger Matt and Vivian couldn't do this. However, under Grusin's supervision, the two initially only drank the blood of livestock to calm their boils. As time passed, the two did not truly convert to God as Grusin expected. Instead, because of the vampire's natural desire for blood, they began to secretly suck human blood. As more and more people died, the matter was finally discovered by Grusin. The fight finally broke out after the three got into a big argument. Grusin, who was more powerful and possessed the holy weapon of the Holy See, killed Matt and Vivian, but he was also seriously injured. He was afraid that he could not suppress the blood boil and became possessed, and finally committed suicide in his monastery. Vivian's body was originally placed in the sarcophagus in Grusin's ashram, but her horoscope was all yin, so she became a zombie. Perhaps because of the vampire's physique, anyone bitten by her will not become an unconscious, boneless person in the traditional Chinese sense. Instead, it will become a kind of blood slave, plus a mixture that does not turn into bones. Su Junming didn't know what this was. But it is definitely a monster that cannot be tolerated in the world. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 187. Chapter 185 Luo Brothers. Having captured the real owner, Su Junming didn't want to stay any longer. After finding a place with beautiful mountains and clear waters, I buried the corpses I met along the way. Use the demon-slaying golden lock to trap Vivian and return the way you came. Captain, look, Chief Su is back. The security team soldiers who had been waiting on the other side of the deep stream discovered Su Junming walking out of the woods. Lu Guangnan, who was resting on a stone under the shade of a tree, got up with a grunt. Seeing Su Junming coming across the bridge, his eyes lit up and he hurriedly greeted him. As we got closer, we couldn't help but slow down. After taking a look, I saw a golden string holding a woman in the air with a pale face and closed eyes. Dea Zhangsu, is this foreign woman the culprit? Good. It doesn't look like it. Perhaps because of the vampire's constitution, although she became black and stiff, she did not grow black hair on her body and still retained her human appearance. How about Captain Lu seeing it with his own eyes? Lu Guangnan smiled and waved his hand. Just kidding, what if you get bitten? Moreover, Taoist Su can drag a person away with only a gold rope. His magic power is obviously extraordinary, and he doesn't want to offend him. When we came to the foot of the mountain and met Luo Taibao and others, we inevitably had to be questioned again. Return to Anyuan town. Taoist priest, how to deal with this zombie? Lu Guangnan asked. I will take it away and dispose of it, you don't have to worry. A black zombie is worth a lot of money, and it is this special kind of black zombie. But he didn't want to be a women's clothing boss, he just wanted to sell this black zombie. In the world of cultivation, the value of a black zombie is no worse than a high-grade magical weapon. Although the current high-grade magic weapon does not greatly improve his strength, it is not completely useless after all. No matter when, you can never lose the habit of diligence and thrift, Su Junming thought to himself. The Taoist priest was able to eliminate this serious problem for our Anyuan town. On behalf of the 4,217 people in Anyuan town, we would like to thank the Taoist priest for his life-saving grace, Luo Taibao said respectfully. The squires of Anyuan town standing behind him also nodded in thanks. That's right, Lu also wants to thank the Taoist priest. You're welcome. It is my duty as a disciple of mission to conquer demons. Taoist priest, I have ordered people to prepare a banquet at Chunxiang Tower, and I would like to ask Taoist priest to move, Luo Taibao said. Thank you very much, Mayor. I appreciate your kindness. However, I have been living without food for many years and I have stopped eating. Moreover, catching ghosts and subduing demons this time requires quite a lot of mana. I am also tired, so I will take my leave. Taoist master, wait a minute. Although we have captured the murderer this time, if there is another disaster like Mrs. Lu's hidden undiscovered, it will be a serious problem after all. Therefore, I would like to ask the Taoist priest to stay in this town for a few more days. If no one is killed again, I will. It's never too late to leave. After that, he half turned around. Ah Sheng, Allah. Master. Two young men ran over. You take Taoist Master Su to the back house of the town hall and serve him well. Don't neglect him. Yes. Taoist priest, I will stay in the town hall for a few days. Any time I use it, I, Anyuan Town, will be responsible for it. Su Junming smiled lightly. Since Mayor Luo said so, I'll just follow the good example and stay here for a few more days. Haha, please, Taoist priest. Su Junming nodded, grabbed the female zombie Vivian, and followed everyone down the mountain. The back house of the town hall is a large courtyard with a brick building, which is considered a first-class residence in Anyuan Town. Everyone returned here and separated. Luo Taibao returned home. Brother, Taoist Su can just leave. Why do you want to keep him? Are you really going to give him dozens of yuan worth of money? Luo Xiaobao, who was dressed in a gorgeous black silk robe, crossed his legs and held two jade balls made of fine Hessian jade seeds in his hands, playing with them constantly. After taking a sip of tea, Luo Taibao put down the cup. How many tens of dollars can be found in the ocean? Haha, I'm afraid people will look down upon you. You don't like him? Then why did he come to our Anyuan town? These days, there are still Taoist priests who catch ghosts and subjugate them for free? Hey! Glanced at him. What do you know? He waved his hand. Everyone, go down. The servants waiting around carefully retreated. Brother. Based on Luo Xiaobao's understanding of his brother, whenever this happens, something big will happen. The last time this happened was when he killed the bullshit mayor who landed in Anyuan town. I saw with my own eyes this morning that Taoist Su bought the heirloom of that idiot Lu Guangnan for 100 taels of gold. 100 taels of gold? Luo Xiaobao exclaimed and stood up immediately. Luo Taibao's face darkened. You don't even have any concentration, sit down. Hey, brother, I can't help myself. Luo Xiaobao's face showed strong greed. Why does this Taoist Su have so much gold on his body? 100 taels. Grandmas, my Ruyi gambling house and Chunxiang courtyard, even if I have been busy for a year, I can't make so much money. Yes. I'm also very surprised. 100 taels of gold is 3,000 taels of silver. Where did Mr. Su get so much money? Brother, never mind him. Since Taoist Su is so rich and let us run into him, then. Luo Xiaobao's right hand was in the shape of a knife, and he moved it across his neck, with a hint of murderous intention on his face. Luo Taibao nodded slowly and pondered for a moment. Judging from the process of catching zombies today, this Taoist Su is very capable. If he comes to arrest people with open fire, I'm afraid our brothers will never come back. Thinking of Su Daoran's ability, Luo Xiaobao's greed-filled mind became a little clearer. Brother, you always have many ideas. Whatever you say, I will obey your orders. Luo Taibao thought for a while. In this way, you take all the guns and explosives we have at home and ambush him on the only road between Anyuan town and Renjia town. Wait for Mr. Su to pass by, first blow it up with gunpowder, and then shoot him with random guns. It's the elder brother's idea that's good. Even if Taoist Su is an ironclad King Kong, he won't be able to survive. But, Fool Lu's 100 taels of gold. Behind Fool Lu is Chen Yaoliang, captain of the county security team. This guy is reckless and risking his life. We don't look at the monk's face, but the Buddha's face, Luo Tebeo said. It's really cheap, fool Lu, that's 100 taels of gold. There is so much wealth in the world, it is impossible for all of it to fall into the hands of our brothers. It is already very good to have Daoren Su as a harvest this time. Luo Xiaobao nodded and stood up. Brother, I'm going to get ready to avoid a long night of dreams. Well, go ahead. Be careful and don't let the news leak out. Hey, it's not the first time, brother, don't worry. Meow, sir, now that we've caught the zombies, why are we still here? There are more zombies than just this one. What, another one? Su Junming nodded. Vivian and Matt, who turned into zombies, are twins. She was born in a yin year, yin month, yin day, and yin time, and Matt is no exception. If the former had not been burned, it would probably be a zombie now. Grabbing Mao Meow Meow, he took a step forward and used the Hu Tian Shen technique to reach a hillside not far from the church. In Vivian's memory, the three brothers and sisters had a big fight here. Matt was killed first, and then when she escaped, she was killed by Grusin and placed in a sarcophagus in the church. Huh. As soon as he arrived here, Su Junming noticed someone peeping in the dark. With a quick scan of his consciousness, he discovered that it was a nest of bats on the canopy of a nearby tree. It's the same thing again. Through Vivian's memory, he knew that vampires were born with the magical power to transform into bats and control bats. Although he lost the ability to transform into a bat after transforming into a zombie, his ability to control bats is still there. The bats he killed in the church were controlled by Vivian. And now these on the treetops are obviously Matt's pets. But the quantity is much smaller. As expected, he has turned into a zombie. After circling the top of the mountain, his consciousness quickly discovered Matt's body in the southeast, 3 feet deep underground. With a stamp of his feet, the cocky spiritual power sank into the ground. Soon, the soil was like a fountain, and Gududu emerged from the ground. After a short time, a shriveled body, wearing tattered robes and a gorgeous long sword stuck in the chest, emerged from the loess. The bats on the treetops flew straight towards Su Junming with repeated squeaking sounds. Without his instructions, a stream of white light flew from Mao Mia Miao's body and circled several times like lightning, killing hundreds of bats. A white bone spur with a flash of spiritual light and a sharp breath slowly returned to Mao Mia Miao's head. Who are you? A trace of spiritual consciousness passed into Su Junming's mind. She speaks Chinese fluently. With a flick of his finger, a grain of colorful yellow rice sank into the corpse's head, but it did not imprison Matt's soul as he thought. I forgot about it. He stretched out his hand and Matt's body flew over. Mage from the east, I know a treasure. If you save me, I am willing to share it with you. Su Junming smiled faintly, turned a deaf ear, and stretched out his hand to grasp the hilt of the sword. His consciousness soaked in, and a ray of joy appeared on his face. The main material of the sword is 900 refined mithril, but the dove-egg-sized ruby on the hilt is indeed the finest red heartstone. The red heartstone is a Binghuo spiritual material, containing the power of pure flames. It is the top spiritual material for refining fire magic weapons. However, because it has been left unmaintained for too long, the magic circle in this sword is about to collapse. Su Junming used his arms to pull out the 1-foot 3-inch silver dagger. The zombie, who lost his suppression and was suddenly free, stretched out his hands and grabbed Su Junming's chest. However, just halfway through, it lost momentum and stopped. After compressing the dagger, put it into the magic bag. Su Junming stretched out his hand and a colorful grain of yellow rice flew out from Matt's body. With a finger, scenes of past memories appeared before his eyes. I thought it was just a lie, but I didn't expect there was a treasure. But it doesn't seem to be easy to get it. After rubbing his chin and remembering the location of the treasure, Su Junming put away Mat's body. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 188. Chapter 186, Vajrawum Hidden Mila Sutra. Meow, sir, since the zombies have been eliminated, why are we coming back? Su Junming returned to the back house of Anyuan Town Hall again. This time we come out in the name of our uncle. In this case, we must have a beginning and an end, and we cannot damage the reputation of our uncle. Otherwise, how will he win the trust of others in this generation? If it was just Su Junming's own business, he would have walked away right now. Meow, you humans are so complicated. What about those two outside? Let them look at us. It's just a disease of scabies, don't worry about it. Mao Meow Meow curled her lips. Although she didn't agree with Su Junming's idea, who would let him be the master? He took out the Maitreya Buddha statue bought from Lu Guangnan from his Dharma bag. Meow, sir. What is this? Why can't I feel the slightest aura? Someone has put a seal on it. It's normal that you can't feel it. If it weren't for the help of the bronze mirror, he wouldn't be able to see through the reality of the Buddha statue. Fortunately, he also mastered the seal, and after some study, it was not difficult to unlock it. Meow, what on earth is this? You'll know then. The cat curled his lips. Another sell off. Su Junming closed his eyes to comprehend the seal on the Buddha statue. About 2 hours later, his hands suddenly flew up, and a series of finger gestures flew into the Buddha statue. Gradually, a little bit of bright yellow brilliance emerged from the belly of the Maitreya Buddha statue. Mao Mia Meow's eyes widened instantly, and the cat's face was full of curiosity. I heard that for a while, the Buddha was in the country of Savatthi. As the bright yellow brilliance grew stronger and stronger, faint Buddhist chants lingered in my ears. Things for bald monks. Mao Meow Meow was surprised. Untie. Su Junming stopped pointing and drank. Buzz. With a trembling sound, the Maitreya Buddha statue suddenly collapsed and turned into a handful of black, shimmering soil. The sound of Buddhist chanting became more and more prosperous. At the same time, a longan-sized, irregular-shaped bead, emitting a rich but soft bright yellow brilliance, emerged from the Buddha's belly. Fortunately, there was a sealing talisman in the room, otherwise this abnormality would have shocked the entire Anyuan town. Su Junming stretched out his hand, and a 6-gen magic talisman blessed the seal. The brilliance of the bead converged, and the Buddhist chant disappeared. He stretched out his hand and the ball fell into his palm. Master, what is this? Relic. Su Junming showed an excited smile. Is this the relic? Mao Meow Meow looked at the ball in Su Junming's hand curiously. According to its understanding, Buddhist monks can gather relics in their dantian or the Niwan palace between their eyebrows after they break through their innate nature. The relics in dantian are called Vajra relics, the relics in Niwan palace are called Buddha relics. The former is called Vajrayana, which emphasizes life but neglects nature, the latter is called Bodhisattva vehicle, which emphasizes nature but neglects life. The former only requires step-by-step practice and a certain amount of chance and understanding to achieve Arhat Buddhahood. The latter requires enlightenment. Without strong understanding, no matter how much time is spent, it will ultimately be in vain. It is difficult to return, but once achieved, one can achieve the status of Bodhisattva. Su Junming nodded. He did not expect that there was a Vajra relic hidden in the Maitreya Buddha statue. Moreover, looking at the intensity of the Buddha's power and the spiritual patterns on the relic, the Buddhist practice that left it must have reached at least the 6th realm during his lifetime. Regardless of the relic or the golden elixir, there are 12 levels of realm, also called 12 turns. The first to third turns are the early stages of the golden elixir. The 4th to 6th turns are the middle stage of golden elixir. The 7th to 9th turns are the late stages of the golden elixir. The 10th to 12th turns are the peak of the golden elixir. The realm of Buddhist relics is also the same. Divine consciousness immersed. In an instant, countless words were reflected in the sea of consciousness. The Vajrawamsa's Mila Sutra. What a true biography of Buddhism that directly points to the Arhat status. Su Junming was excited. This was the first time he saw the complete Buddhist technique. Become aware of it subconsciously. Soon, a wisp of bright yellow Buddha power appeared around him. However, Su Junming stopped after a moment of reflection. Although Buddhism and Taoism have different cultivation methods, in the end they both become Buddhas and ancestors, and reach the same destination through different paths. That being the case, just choose one. Su Junming is even more curious about the principles and laws hidden in the entire Vajrawamsa Mila Sutra. The diamond penetrates the earth, and the virtues carry everything. It turns out to be the earth's path. Curiosity dropped instantly. If it is the path of cause and effect, the path of soul, the path of illusion, the path of creation, the path of reincarnation, these are the most exquisite avenues in Buddhism, he will definitely work hard to understand them. But Tuxing Avenue is relatively worse. However, the earthly way contained in the exercise that directly pointed to the immortal way was still of great help to him in practicing the earthly way. After all, the earthly emperor's way and the earthly way are the foundation among foundations. Only when the foundation is well laid can the branches and leaves flourish. In addition to the Vajrawamsa Mila Sutra, the six-turn relic is an oversized elixir. However, if you want to use it, you need to remove the Buddhist will in it and convert it into pure spiritual energy. I don't know that this relic is the inheritance left by the great Buddhist master. In the future, we need to find a successor for it to resolve the cause and effect. He put away the relics and looked at the dirt floating in the air. The soil that can seal a Vajra relic is naturally a spiritual object, and it is also a top-quality three-color spiritual soil. Three-colored spiritual soil belongs to the category of Wutu, which is the best spiritual soil for cultivating spiritual roots and spiritual plants. Su Junming counted about 198 grains. A six-turn relic, 198 grains of three-color spiritual soil, a top-grade red heartstone, top-grade 900 refined mithril, and 2 black zombies with vampire blood. This Enuin the trip to town was really rewarding. Su Junming was satisfied. I deeply feel that people still have to do good deeds. If they have many merits, even luck cannot stop them. Mao Meow Meow was drooling as she watched. Good thing, he is also greedy. Meow Meow, this guy is really shitty lucky. No, it's cat shit luck. He must have robbed me of all my good luck and luck, otherwise I would have worked diligently to catch ghosts and subjugate demons. Everything is in tatters, but this guy is either a top-notch cave or a top-grade spiritual weapon. Now it's even more exaggerated. There are even relics. If you meow meow, I also want the relics, and I also want the spiritual soil. Mao Meow Meow screamed inwardly, saliva flowing from the corners of her mouth. Silly cat, why don't you give this relic to me for safekeeping? Mao Meow Meow's eyes lit up instantly. Really? Su Junming waved the relic in front of Mao Meow Meow, smiled slightly, and put it into the magic bag. I thought about it for a while. It is safer to keep such an important thing in my own hands. Meow. Knowing that he was being tricked, Mao Meow Meow roared angrily and bit Su Junming. With a flick of his fingers, a flash of inspiration occurred, and Mao Meow Meow was instantly thrown away. Before it landed, the cat twisted in the air and quickly rushed towards Su Junming. With a faint smile and a flash of light from the purifying talisman, all Mao Meow Meow's emotions disappeared instantly. Su Junming caught it, put it in his arms and began to stroke it. Well, it seems smoother than the past few days. It seems that I have eaten well these days. After rubbing it for a few times, his hand suddenly stopped, his brows furrowed slightly, and he looked out the door. The dark night enveloped the surrounding areas, and everything was quiet. It was obviously late at night. After removing the sealing talisman, Su Junming said calmly. "Come in." "Thank you, Taoist master." A soft and timid young woman's voice came from the courtyard. Soon, a woman wearing a white skirt, with hair hanging down her shoulders, who looked a bit like Xiaojiabiu, floated in from outside. "Meow, female ghost." Mao Meow Meow woke up at this time. Without the suppression of the pure heart talisman, anger quickly filled his heart. Just as he was about to bite Su Junming, he suddenly noticed the ghost coming in. Maybe he was used to hunting ghosts, so his attention was instantly attracted to it. "Ah!" The female ghost screamed and hid behind the door. Su Junming suppressed Mao Meow Meow, who was about to pounce out. "Ignore this stupid cat, come out." The female ghost nodded and watched the frightening black cat struggling, but still unable to escape from the Taoist's hand, and then hesitantly walked out. "The little girl Chu Yulian has met the Taoist priest. Wish the Taoist priest a happy life. You are just a ghost, but you took the initiative to come to my door. Aren't you afraid that I will take you in?" Chu Yulian's face showed a look of panic. The little girl has become a ghost, and now there is no hope of revenge. Instead of living alone and helpless in this troubled world, it would be better for her to be taken away by the Taoist priest. "We've Su Junming frowned. He hates seeing people cry the most, especially female ghosts. "Stop crying. Is the body I buried in the southeast mountains during the day yours? It's the little lady. Isn't this why you came to me?" The female ghost quickly knelt down on the ground. "The little girl is an innocent and kind-hearted person. She makes a living by singing in Chunxiang Tower with her father." Unexpectedly, Luo Taibao, the bully in this town, took the little girl to be his concubine. The little girl refused to obey and was actually used by him. He was poured to death by acid. My father went to argue the case, but he was also seriously injured and died a month later. Speaking of this, a wisp of blue-gray resentment emerged from her body. In fact, she is a fierce ghost in her own right, and it is not surprising that she has such deep resentment. "You went to take revenge?" Chu Yulian nodded quickly. After the little girl became a ghost, she went to take revenge. As a result, Luo Taibao had a magic talisman on his body, and the little girl couldn't get close to him. Several attempts were unsuccessful. The little girl was afraid of alerting the snake, so she didn't dare to show herself until the body was found. After being buried by the Taoist priest, I had a feeling in my heart and came here late at night. I also hope that the Taoist priest will take pity on my unfortunate life experience and help me avenge me. If I can succeed, the little girl will work as a cow or a horse in her next life, and she will definitely report her kindness to her. Having said that, you will get a discount." But with a flick of his finger, Su Junming used yellow rice to absorb her soul. After checking the female ghost's memory, it turned out to be exactly what she said. "Meow meow, this Luo Taibao is so abominable. Master, I'm going to kill him. Don't be impatient." Holding down Mao Meow Meow, Su Junming waved his hand, and Chu Yulian's soul flew out of the yellow rice. She only felt a little dizzy and didn't know that her memory had been read. Seeing Su Junming, he quickly kowtowed again. He waved his sleeves to support her body. "Don't be anxious, just listen to me first. Luo Taibao harmed the lives of your father and daughter. It is understandable that you want to take revenge. However, the reincarnation of heaven and the separation of yin and yang mean that yin people are not allowed to interfere with the life and death of yang people. If you take revenge, you will inevitably have to go to the Yama Palace in the future, suffering in the hell of vain death for 10 years. If you don't take revenge, just go to the underworld and wait for a few years before you can be reincarnated as a human in the next life. And Luo Taibao has done many evil things, so he will naturally go to the 18th level of hell for hundreds of years and be reincarnated as a beast in the next life. There are two roads in front of you, the poor and the poor. How you choose is entirely up to you. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 189. Chapter 187 The Six Armor Amulet. Chu Yulian showed hesitation on her face, but she quickly bit her silver teeth. Thank you, Taoist priest, for informing me, but my father's hatred is as deep as the sea. This little girl must avenge her. Even if she goes to the 18th level of hell and suffers in the future, she will not hesitate. Su Junming nodded. Since you have made up your mind, I won't say anything more. With a pat of the magic bag, a small umbrella with a length of more than a foot and flashing light flew out. You go to Lugo's house with my Tian Lugo umbrella, and all obstacles will be eliminated. Once things are understood, you can come back with the umbrella. Chu Yulian raised her hands above her head to catch the flying umbrella. Thank you so much, Taoist priest, for your success. My little girl will never forget you. Go. Chu Yulian nodded and flew towards the Lugo family holding the Tian Lugo umbrella. Meow. Master, how about I follow you and take a look? What if Chu Yulian can't avenge her and loses her Tian Lugo umbrella? The Liujia amulet on Lugo Tebeo's body is just a middle-grade Dongzhen talisman from Gazeo Mountain. How can it block Tian Lugo umbrella? Just be patient. After using the bronze mirror to see the Maitreya Buddha statue worn on Lu Guangnan's body, he also saw the talisman worn on Lugo Tebeo's body. However, although Ge Zheishan's Liujia amulet was valuable, he would not be willing to spend 100 taels of gold to buy it. Moreover, the gold obtained from Ren Xiang's bag was only more than 100 taels. Comparing the two, the Maitreya Buddha statue in Lu Guangnan was naturally more valuable. Everything was as Su Junming expected. Within half an hour, Chu Yulian came back, with a hint of blood evil in her body. The resentment has dissipated a lot. Thank you, little lady, for your kindness. Recalling the Tian Lugo umbrella as his natal magic weapon, Su Junming could detect the Liujia amulet in it without looking at it. Su Junming nodded, popped out a colorful yellow rice, and took her in. Meow, master, aren't you going to send her to reincarnation? Is it easy for you to open the passage to the underworld? Of course I have to wait until there are more ghosts, and send them to reincarnation together. Although he has understood the talisman of reincarnation, it takes a lot of mana to open the passage to the underworld. And this is only possible because there are people under Mission Mountain. If you are an ordinary casual cultivator who wants to open the passage to the underworld, unless you are very powerful, you should just go to sleep. Soon, the sound of cock crow came from the window. Master, it's almost dawn. Su Junming closed his eyes and meditated cross-legged. Just keep it bright. Aren't we leaving? Everything must be done from beginning to end. Since we promised to stay a few more days, how can we break our promise? Su Junming said calmly. Mao Miao's face twisted. Aren't you afraid that the Luo family will come to your door? Su Junming glanced at it. If you find me, I will throw you out to take the blame. Snort. He broke free from Su Junming's hands, jumped onto the bed next to him, and found a comfortable position to lie down. Papa. Second master, second master. There was a rapid knock on the door. What are you shouting about so early in the morning? Luo Xiaobao moved away from the woman pressing on him, and got out of bed irritably. Last night, he deployed his men and laid traps all night, and he didn't fall asleep until 3 o'clock in the morning. He was very sleepy at this time. If someone suddenly disturbs your sweet dreams, your temper will naturally not be good. Opening the door, his confidant butler was standing outside. You're so talented. Second master, the eldest master is dead, the housekeeper interrupted quickly. Luo Xiaobao's head buzzed, and he suddenly woke up. He grabbed the butler's collar with both arms and stared angrily. What did you say? Just now, Butler Lee from the eldest master's house sent someone to tell him that the eldest master died last night. Impossible, my eldest brother was in good health yesterday, why is he dead today? Luo Xiaobao said angrily. Second master, I don't even know this. Luo Xiaobao threw it away and sprinted outside. The housekeeper fell down and couldn't get up for a while. When he arrived at his eldest brother's house, the servants all greeted him. Seeing the panic on their faces, Luo Xiaobao's heart sank. He rushed straight to the backyard, and before he reached his eldest brother's bedroom, the sound of crying reached his ears. His face became more and more gloomy. He stepped in, ignored the mourning sister-in-law, nephews, and nieces, and looked directly at the figure lying on the bed. Second master, uncle, second uncle. Luo Xiaobao turned a deaf ear and walked straight to the bed. Lifting the white cloth covering his head and face, he looked at the eldest brother below with his eyes wide open and frightened, and a surge of anger rushed towards Luo Xiaobao Tianling. How did my elder brother die? Seeing that his eyes were red, as if he was choosing people to devour, the servants serving the master beside him were silent. A beautiful middle-aged woman in gorgeous clothes wiped her tears. Last night, the master was staying in the study. According to the servants who were waiting on him, at midnight last night, the master suddenly screamed. They rushed in and saw a female ghost in white, who turned out to be, actually. The beautiful woman looked extremely frightened. What? Come on, tell me. I actually tore out the master's heart, liver, lungs, and internal organs. Wow. In anger, Luo Xiaobao smashed the coffee table next to him with his palm. Who was waiting on my elder brother in the study last night? Come out. A young man in green clothes and a maid with a bun in a bun were brought in with a frightened expression. Putong knelt in front of Luo Xiaobao. Second master, spare your life. It's a ghost that killed the first master, it's none of our business. Luo Xiaobao looked solemn. I know it's none of your business. I called you here just to ask about what happened last night. You just need to tell me everything you saw and heard last night. You can leave now. Yes, yes. After the two nodded repeatedly, they recounted exactly what they knew last night. So, my eldest brother was really killed by a ghost. Yes, yes, I will never deceive the second master, the young man said quickly. The maid next to her also nodded fearfully. Very good. Luo Xiaobao took 2 steps forward and suddenly slapped the two people's heads with his palms. Dark red blood instantly flowed down the 7 orifices. Bang, the body fell to the ground. Seeing this scene, the people around him instantly screamed. My eldest brother is dead, why are you still alive? Luo Xiaobao said with a grim smile. Sister-in-law, Butler Lee. Seeing his murderous look, the beautiful middle-aged woman who just spoke and an old man wearing blue satin looked over with a bit of fear. Second master, please give me your instructions. Seal the mansion and put the eldest brother's body in the ice cellar for preservation. Before I come back, the news of eldest brother's death must not be leaked. If anyone dares to leak the news, he narrowed his eyes and said in a cold voice, don't blame me for being unkind. The 2 men trembled and nodded quickly. Second uncle, don't worry. Everything follows the second master's orders. Luo Xiaobao nodded. He turned around and looked at his dead brother lying on the bed. When they were young, sad scenes of the 2 brothers relying on each other came to mind. Brother, don't worry. I will definitely avenge you, brother. After saying that, Luo Xiaobao suddenly turned around and strode out of the room. Come to the courtyard and clear your mind. Who killed the eldest brother? Is it just a ghost? Or is there someone else? Luo Xiaobao instantly thought of Su Junming, but he was not sure. He and his eldest brother had just decided to kill this person and had not yet had time to implement it. Logically speaking, it was impossible to cause death. But it doesn't rule out that he already knew his arrangement, so he took action in advance. After all, he cannot know all the methods a cultivator has. If that's the case, there's no reason for him to just kill the eldest brother but let me go. After thinking about it for a long time and coming up with no clue, Luo Xiaobao turned around and left the house. He first went back to his own house to give an explanation, closed the house and closed the family. After keeping the news of his eldest brother's death, he came to the town office. Looking at Afu standing there, he waved. "Second master. Is that Taoist Master Su still inside?" "Yes, we took advantage of the breakfast delivery in the morning to go in and have a look. People are still there." Luo Xiaobao opened his mouth. He originally wanted to ask if Taoist Su left last night. But considering the other party's ability, if they really left, they might not find out, so they simply didn't ask. Take good care of people. If anything goes wrong at all, you are the only one I will ask. Luo Xiaobao emphasized the word take care of. Afu knew the elegant meaning of Xianji and nodded quickly. After explaining, Luo Xiaobao glanced at the town office, turned and left. Returning to the mansion, he took his gun, mounted his horse, and after leaving Anyuan town, he galloped towards the north. The mountain road is difficult to navigate, and the further you go in, the more rugged it becomes. Gradually, there were no roads left. Luo Xiaobao had no choice but to dismount and walk. After walking for a long time, he rounded the foot of the mountain in front of him and saw a huge boulder 3 feet high in front of him. This boulder is completely blue and green, with human-shaped patterns carved on it, but this pattern looks a bit weird. Compared to normal people, he has one extra eye between his eyebrows. Seeing this boulder, Luo Xiaobao quickly knelt down. Luo Xiaobao of Anyuan County asks to see Master An. As he said that, he took out a small black flag from his sleeve. The flag was filled with gloomy energy and was obviously not a decent way. "We." The laughter that was neither male nor female, neither yin nor yang, suddenly rang around Luo Xiaobao. Luo Xiaobao's body trembled, but he did not dare to move. Not long after, paper figures that were all white and 1 foot tall flew out from behind the boulder. After these paper figures circled the boulder for a few times, there was a boom, the boulder turned to one side, and a stone road leading to the back appeared in front of them. Luo Xiaobao did not dare to neglect, and quickly grabbed the black flag and walked onto the stone road. After walking no more than 100 meters, a small valley appeared in front of us. There isn't much vegetation in this valley, but it is dotted with large and small paper figures. Some of these paper figures are hanging on trees, some are pressed under rocks, twisting left and right, as if they are alive, and they look extremely weird. In the center of the valley, at the end of the stone road, is a gray house that looks like it is made of paper. In this paper house, the 2 paper doors are closed tightly and the 2 windows are half open, but you can't see clearly what's going on inside. The structural style is no different from the main room of ordinary people's homes. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 190. Chapter 188, The Spiritual House of Bliss. Luo Xiaobao walked to the front of the house, not daring to look further, and quickly knelt down. Raise the black flag above your head. Master An, your precious body and gold, I would like to see Luo Xiaobao from Anyuan town. Suddenly, a gap opened in the closed paper door, and an invisible suction force came out, catching the black flag in Luo Xiaobao's hand and flying in. After a while, an old voice came from it. 30 ghosts, very good. Thank you, Master An, for the compliment. Speaking of which, what do you want? Talisman or elixir? I don't want anything, but I want the master to take action to avenge my eldest brother. If I succeed, I am willing to sacrifice 100 ghosts. Logo Sheobeo gritted his teeth and said. Your eldest brother? Logo Tebeo. Exactly. How did he die? He was killed by a ghost, but I suspect there is someone else behind it. So you have suspicions? Yes, this person calls himself a disciple of Mission. Mission. There was anger in the old voice. Exactly. That man calls himself Su Junming, a disciple of Mission Nanzang. Luo Xiaobao said quickly. Since it's those stinky Taoist priests from Mission who are hypocritical and righteous, I will take over this business. But after the deal is completed, you have to give up 100 ghosts. If not, don't blame me for being ruthless. Don't worry, Masterin. I won't dare to fool you, old man, no matter what. Humph, I'm sorry you don't dare either. The doors and windows of the paper house were wide open, and it was pitch black inside. Occasionally, there were half a ray of golden light flashing through, which was strange and inexplicable. Wow! Hundreds of paper figures in the valley flew up at the same time and disappeared inside the doors and windows of the paper house like meteors. Seeing this spectacular scene, Luo Xiaobao was secretly shocked in his heart. This Masterin was accidentally encountered when he went hunting in the mountains many years ago and got lost at night and ran into this valley. Not only did the opponent not kill him, he also gave him a set of boxing techniques and a pill. He also jumped from an ordinary person to a kung fu master. But all good things come with conditions. The price for him to become stronger was to use the soul-searching flag given by this person to collect 50 ghosts and give them to the other party. 50 ghosts are 50 lives? Even with Luo Xiaobao's ruthlessness, he would not be able to do such a crazy thing. Fortunately, the other party gave a 1-year deadline. Within a year, Luo Xiaobao traveled around the surrounding towns and found 50 ghosts of beggars, homeless people, criminals, and people who died accidentally. The price was high, but the feeling of growing strength made him appreciate it. Over the next few years, he has been secretly collecting ghosts. When you have enough, you can exchange them for elixirs or even talismans. The Liojia amulet on his eldest brother's body and the talisman on his own body were both exchanged from Masterin. After collecting all the paper figures, the paper house flashed with light and transformed into an old man with a childlike face and black hair, narrow eyes, and a ge-clad suit. However, if you look carefully, you will see that this old man is not an entity, but an illusion. Masterin. Luo Xiaobao quickly bowed and saluted. The old man nodded. Over the past few years, this Luo Xiaobao has contributed a lot of ghosts to him. For the sake of his own path, this guy's request cannot be ignored. Lead the way. Luo Xiaobao nodded and ran out of the valley. Looking back furtively, Masterin actually had his feet off the ground, following him as lightly as a ghost. If it hadn't been for the bright light now, he would have suspected that Masterin, whom he had served for 5 years, was just a ghost. After leaving the valley, we rode towards the road we came from. After dark, we finally returned to Anyuan town. Knocking on the courtyard door, the servant of the Luo family saw it was Luo Xiaobao and quickly opened it and let him in. Masterin, please. The old man floated in. When the Luo family saw this scene, their hearts trembled. Although they were scared, they did not dare to say anything. After guiding the old man to the ice cellar and seeing his elder brother's body lying on the ice bed, Luo Xiaobao became angry again. After taking a deep breath, he simply calmed down. Please also ask Masterin to take action and find out the real culprit who killed my eldest brother. The old man nodded, stretched out his hand to grab it, and a ghostly aura emerged from Luo Tebao's body. Three Mountains' patriarchal tradition can be traced back to its origins, and the spirit crane guides the way. The ghost energy rolled in the old man's palm, turned into a palm-sized gray crane, and flew straight out of the ice cellar. Follow me. Luo Xiaobao nodded quickly and chased out. We followed the gray crane through the streets and alleys, and finally arrived at the town hall. It's indeed him. Luo Xiaobao gritted his teeth and stared angrily at the backyard of the town hall. At this time, all the truth came out. The person who killed his eldest brother was Taoist Su from Mission. I also ask Master An to take action to kill this beast and avenge my elder brother. After the incident is completed, the disciples will sacrifice all the hundreds of ghosts. The old man nodded, and just as he was about to speak, a trace of surprise appeared on his face. The vigilance is high enough. Squeak. The door to the backyard of the town office opened, and a tall, square-faced young Taoist wearing a blue robe, with long hair randomly tied back by vines and a calm expression, stepped out. A black cat jumped out of the wall and landed lightly on the young Taoist's left shoulder. After taking a look at Luo Xiaobao, whose face was full of hatred, as if he had eaten him, his eyes turned to the old man next to him. The figure was illusory, but there was no ghostly aura, which made Su Junming quite curious. As for strength, judging from the aura, it is somewhere between the golden elixir and the innate one. It should have been accumulated enough, but it has not yet passed the tribulation. Su, our Luo family has no enmity against you. Why did you drive the ghost to kill my eldest brother? Your eldest brother has done many evil things and should have died long ago. However, I was not the one who killed your eldest brother. Even now, you are still lying. Noisy. With a flick of his fingers, invisible energy flew straight to Luo Xiaobao. The old man standing next to him waved his sleeves to block the dark force. The young man is so angry. Are all the people in Mission like you? From the tone of your voice, you seem to know me, Mission, very well. Of course. They are just a bunch of stinking Taoist priests who talk about benevolence and morality, but secretly they are all hypocrites. Su Junming frowned. From the tone of this man's tone, there must be some grudge between him and Mao Shan. This is not surprising. The two sects in the north and south of Mission have been established for nearly 2,000 years, and they have killed countless demons and demons in the meantime. With the entanglement of cause and effect, there are naturally many enemies. Hearing what your excellency said, what happened today can't be good. Hey, I can only blame you for being unlucky enough to meet me. A light flashed from the old man's body, and a blue-gray paper house 1 foot long and 4 feet high emerged from behind him. Come in, old man. An invisible suction force enveloped Su Junming. In an instant, he felt as if his soul was swaying, as if it was going to go away with him. His face changed and he pinched his fingers. Certainly. Su Junming practiced the Soul Dao intensively, and his soul quickly stabilized. Huh. The old man's face changed slightly. His soul-capturing technique can shake even the peak of his innate state if he is not prepared. When the time comes, he will take the opportunity to severely injure the opponent and win him in one fell swoop. But the young man in front of him was not even in a trance, which was beyond his expectation. Looking at the paper house behind the old man, Su Junming said solemnly. Bliss Spirit House, are you from Gazao Mountain? I didn't expect you to know about the Bliss Soul House at such a young age, but I'm no longer from Gazao Mountain, so you don't need to have any friendship with me about the 3 mountain talisman and seal script. Crack, countless paper figures flew out from the paper house, or the Paradise Spiritual House. Su Junming's expression changed slightly, he took a step forward and fled towards the outside of Anyuan town like lightning. It's not that easy to run away. The old man flew up and quickly chased after him. Luo Xiaobao wanted to avenge his elder brother in his heart, so he was naturally not far behind, but his speed was much slower than the first two. Su Junming and the old man walked one behind the other, quickly leaving Anyuan town and escaping into the mountains. After arriving at a rocky valley, Su Junming stopped and turned around. Why don't you run away? Run. Su Junming shook his head slightly. I'm just afraid of hurting innocent people during the fight. But this valley is nice. Although it's a bit desolate, it's just right for your burial place. Su Junming patted his forehead with a look of surprise on his face. I almost forgot. Looking at you like this, I'm afraid your bones have long been gone. The old man looked angry. Sharp teeth and sharp tongue. Since you want to die early, I will be kind enough to help you. With a flash of light, countless paper figures flew out of the paper house. The sharp paper cut through the air and flew straight towards Su Junming. Little tricks. He stretched out his hand and a golden lock flew out. The head and tail of the lock met and turned into a golden ring. The golden ring was divided into 5 parts and enveloped Su Junming's body. Any paper man flying into this golden ring seems to have lost power and falls lightly. The old man's expression changed, he stretched out his hand, and the remaining paper figures turned around and flew back. But those paper figures who fell into the golden ring seemed to have lost contact, and no matter what he did, there was no movement. You, a junior, have some tricks up your sleeve. I have a lot of tricks, but I'm afraid you won't be able to let me use them. With a wave of his hand, the paper man sealed by his magic subduing golden lock flew into the magic bag. These paper figures are all low-grade White Ming paper ritual practitioners. Beiming paper is the secret of Ge Zhao Mountain. It is the best thing for practicing paper figurines and depicting talismans. It is better than the Luofu paper inherited from Mission Nanzang. It would be a good idea to collect some low-grade Dongzhen talismans and practice them. 6 Armor Heavenly Weapon Talisman. 4 talismans flew out from the Paradise Spiritual House. In an instant, countless paper figures gathered together. In the blink of an eye, they transformed into 4 giant paper figures 1 foot tall and holding swords. What's more important is that the aura of each paper man has reached its innate peak. I've heard the name of the Liujia Heavenly Soldier Talisman in Gazao Mountain for a long time, and I'm going to learn about it today. Su Junming patted the magic bag, and a bronze lotus lantern flew out. Using the flame essence from the red heartstone dug out from the western sword, he has trained the Xiang Lantern Festival into a top-notch magical weapon. Go! The old man shouted loudly, and 4 giant paper figures brandished sharp paper knives and swords and struck directly at Su Junming. Call! As soon as the magic power was activated, the wick flames surged, and the golden red flames swept away like a rushing river with overwhelming momentum. Haha, Junior. Since the Liujia Heavenly Weapon Talisman is called Liujia, its defense is so strong that it cannot be destroyed by ordinary fire like yours. The 4 paper figures flashed with light, and a hexagonal protective shield blocked out all the flames. Su Junming's expression changed and he flew back. Want to run now? It's too late. The old man urged him, and 6 armored heavenly soldiers immediately chased him. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 191. Chapter 189 Kinkan Paper. Su Junming changed his finger skills, and the flames of the purple sun lantern divided into 4 giant fire dragons that were 3 feet long. They barely resisted the 4 giant paper figures and circled around the valley without leaving a trace. The 2 sides went back and forth, and after a long fight, the old man frowned. Although his Liujia heavenly soldiers had the upper hand, it was difficult to take down the opponent for a while. After pondering for a moment, the old man looked determined. That's all. Although it's a bit wasteful, other means can't defeat this junior. The spiritual sense of both palms changed, the palms of the palms faced each other, the hands were clasped together, and the mouth was low. Combine. The 6 armored heavenly soldiers stopped and suddenly exploded, turning into 4 paper dragons that merged with each other. Soon, an even bigger paper man appeared in front of Su Junming. Junior, let's see how you can resist this time. The old man was full of confidence. Su Junming smiled faintly and took back the Xiang lantern. A statue of Guangong flashing with blue light flew out. Disciple Su Junming, I would like to invite the Holy Emperor Guan to come to me. I am as urgent as the law. The inexplicable power of heaven and earth surged in like a river. Su Junming's body expanded rapidly, turning into a 1-foot-long body in the blink of an eye. His aura was so powerful that he was a head taller than a 2-foot-long paper man. At this moment, the old man's expression, which had always been full of wisdom, suddenly changed. Impossible, you are so young, how can you comprehend the true art of God to such a level? Nothing is impossible in this world. It's just that you have limited knowledge. The sword stood upright in his palm. Cut. The sharp sword energy is like the Yangtze River, with astonishing momentum. The old man quickly urged the paper man to resist. Boom. With a loud noise that shook the eardrums, the 6-sided light armor on the paper man's surface was slashed through. The sharp sword energy cut the 2-foot-tall paper giant into 2 pieces from his head to his crotch. The golden light was dazzling, and the demon-subduing golden lock came with lightning, sealing the 2 pieces of the paper giant's remains. Su Junming stretched out his hand and used the Huishan compression technique to compress the 2 pieces of paper giant into a 1-foot size and put them into the magic bag. This scene sounds complicated, but it actually happened in a split second. The old man looked at the paper figures he had accumulated over the years, being eaten up and wiped clean by the other party in this way. Of course, his face was not good looking. Damn young man, I am at odds with you. Laugh. A 5-foot-long sword energy, like thunder and lightning, came across the air. The old man's expression changed, and the paper house behind him flashed with light, facing the sword energy. Seeing him looking a little busy, Su Junming's face turned serious. They are already facing each other in life and death, and there is so much nonsense. I'll give you another knife. Swish, the surging sword light was dazzling, and the paper house struck by the rolling knife was crumbling. Damn it! The Supreme Purity Clan, the Dharma realm of ultimate bliss. The old man roared. The light from the paper house went straight towards the bullfighting, and the endless yin qi expanded rapidly like a hurricane. Su Junming didn't dare to be involved in this evil spirit. The Bliss Spiritual House in Gazao Mountain is a world of its own, and it is a unique and supreme method in the world of spiritual practice. Once taken in, unless one's strength exceeds that of the master of the Bliss Spiritual House, or one has other secret skills, there is no way to escape. The 4 images slay demons, the innate 8 trigrams, rise. 12 3-foot-high iron pillars rise from the ground on 4 sides inside and 8 outside. Countless spiritual symbols gathered into flags to suppress the 2 formations. Seeing the yin qi coming rapidly, Su Junming raised his right hand with sword fingers in front of his chest, a big seal-shaped talisman with flashing blue light flew out of his head, and he drank. Seal up. The talisman's light flashed, and the 2 large formations moved rapidly. Boom boom. The yin energy collided violently with the power of the formation. Su Junming's face was solemn. With his mind connected to the formation, he could clearly sense the impact of each wave inside the formation being stronger than the last. I don't believe it. Gritting his teeth, he used all the magic power in his body to activate the 6 town magic talismans, and used the large formation to perform the sealing technique. Tisk. 4 inside and 8 outside, the 8 iron pillars began to compress inwards. 1 centimeter, 1 foot, 3 feet, 1 foot. Sweat flowed down Su Junming's forehead, but he did not dare to relax at all. Gradually, the iron pillars, talisman flags, and array diagrams began to compress, turning into the shape of a Tian logo umbrella. A pillar of black yin energy mixed with a touch of pure yang energy is located within the Tian logo umbrella. You brat, the Paradise Spirit House is a world of its own. Even if you seal me, you can't kill me. This time I admit defeat. If you let me go, I am willing to pass on the method of constructing the Paradise Spirit House to you. Then Luo Xiaobao, whether you kill or scrape, I won't bother you anymore, how about that? Su Junming turned a deaf ear and urged his magic power. Tianluo Umbrella's aura shined brightly and completely absorbed the old man. He stretched out his hand and the Tianluo umbrella fell into his hand. You could see a bulge in the canopy that couldn't help but swim, but no matter what it did, it couldn't break through the Tianluo umbrella's blockade. This old guy has been cultivating Taoism for many years, and I don't know if his brain has been damaged. Now you have been beaten into a dog's brain, and you still want me to let you go. Withdrawing the true fighting technique, Su Junming stumbled and almost fell down. At this moment, he just felt light and weak. Fortunately, he was still conscious and didn't feel like he was in a coma like last time in Changchun Valley. Meow, Master, are you okay? Mao Meow Meow ran over quickly. It's okay, go and bring me the soul of that bastard Luo Xiaobao. And you? I'll meditate here to recover my mana. With that said, Su Junming sat down cross-legged. After looking at him, Mao Meow Meow turned around and ran towards the outside of the valley. Until it went far away, Su Junming opened his eyes and removed the magic formula in his hand. It seems this stupid cat has surrendered. If Mao Meow Meow had any different intentions just now, the yin and yang grind that was ready to go would teach it a profound lesson. Although Mao Meow Meow passed the test this time, Su Junming, who is suspicious by nature, has not completely let down his guard. I'll have to try it a few more times in the future. If Mao Meow Meow takes action, Luo Xiaobao will naturally not be able to escape. However, Su Junming didn't bother to deal with him yet. After recovering his mana, he returned to the back house of the Anyuan town hall. Meow, Master, why didn't you kill the old guy instead of sealing him with force? Do you think I don't want to kill him? With the Paradise Soul House as my body, I can't kill him with my current ability, I can only seal him temporarily. What kind of treasure is the Paradise Spirit House that is so powerful? The Bliss Spiritual House is the top secret treasure of Gazao Mountain, and it is also the simplest and easiest way to open up the world in the world of cultivation. In fact, the Huishan talisman of Mission Nanzong is a true talisman formed by the ancestors of Mission, Quanmo Pavilion's Aishan Bliss Spiritual House, combined with other space Taoist methods. According to the description of the Paradise Spiritual House in the Mission Nanzong classics. If you want to practice this top secret treasure, you need the secret Kinkan paper from Zhao Mountain. As for how to practice the Kinkan paper, only the elders, leaders, and other senior officials of Gazaishan Jindan knew about it. Rumor has it that in addition to the Kinkan paper, if you want to build the Bliss Spiritual House, you also need a set of forbidden methods called the Little Zushanyun Forbidden Method. The Heavenly Bliss Spiritual House built by Kinkan paper and Xiaotianyunjin True Method is also divided into different steps. The first step is to absorb yin or yang energy, follow the example of Yang Lu Yin Lai, and build an extremely yin or yang space. When there is enough yin or yang qi, the second step is carried out. The cathode generates yang, or the anode yin generates, balancing the two elements to produce yin and yang qi. Then, the two rituals gave rise to 4 images, the 4 images transformed into the 5 elements, the 5 elements transformed into 7 stars, the 7 stars derived from the 8 trigrams, and finally the heavenly stems and earthly branches formed a real world. Although it sounds complicated, it is compared to the method of world opening in the Huishan talisman inherited by Mission Nanzong. It does not require a profound understanding of the way of space, nor does it require an innate spiritual being with complete 5 elements. It is much simpler. The only difficulty may be that the Paradise Spirit House consumes huge resources. Therefore, Zhao Mountain has been passed down for thousands of years. Before the sect was in turmoil and their vitality was seriously damaged, there were only a few people who could practice the Bliss Spirit House. Master, is it impossible to kill someone after cultivating this Bliss Soul House? Mao Meow Meow asked curiously. No, it's just that it's difficult to kill. The method of attaining enlightenment in the Paradise Spirit House can be summed up in just 4 words: using one's body to match the Tao. Abandon the physical body and integrate the soul with the Paradise Spirit House. The stronger the Paradise Spirit House, the more powerful the magic power will be. Within the Paradise Spirit House, the owner of the Spirit House is the Dao of Heaven. If you fall into it, your life and death will be controlled by it. Paradise. If the spiritual house is immortal, the owner of the spiritual house will not die. Mao Miao Miao said with envy, "Miao, this Paradise Spirit House is so strong." It is indeed very strong. However, if a spirit house wants to advance, it consumes more than 10 times the resources of an ordinary monk, and the further it goes, the greater the consumption. Often, it may not necessarily take several decades to advance to a higher level. The only advantage is that it has a long lifespan. As long as there is spiritual energy in this world, the spiritual house will not be destroyed. The spiritual house will not be destroyed, but the lifespan will last forever. Isn't this what immortality is? Mao Miao Miao exclaimed. This is a different kind of immortality, but this kind of immortality is too fragile. If this world is not the end of heaven, the Paradise Spiritual House can be regarded as a powerful method of enlightenment. But now that the law of heaven is at an end, the Paradise Spiritual House has become a useless thing that is tasteless to eat and a pity to throw away. The old man was sealed, firstly because he was difficult to kill, and secondly because Su Junming wanted to understand the famous Paradise Spiritual House. If he can understand the little Zhu Tian Yun Jin true Dharma from it, then his Hu Tian Dao will definitely be able to go a step further. Mao Miao Miao clicked her mouth, and most of the curiosity about the Paradise Spiritual House on the cat's face disappeared in an instant. Obviously it also understands the limitations of this secret method. "Master, what should I do with this guy?" He glanced at Luo Xiaobao's soul, which was bound in the middle by the demon-suppressing golden lock. "Take it and crush it. The essence of the soul is harvested into yellow rice, and only the true spirit is left to return to heaven and earth. The soul is the essence of heaven and earth, itself an essence of pure essence. Therefore, many evil cultivators like to use souls to practice magic or magic weapons. It's just that the karma of this method is too great. If the soul is not a very sinful soul, Su Junming will not use it lightly.